This is the Nicest Podcast with your hosts, Travis Bottoms and Tyler Sublette. Get ready for genuine, unfiltered conversations with Arizona's most fascinating entrepreneurs, business leaders, and innovators. We dive into their stories, their journeys, and what drives their success, all while keeping it real and relatable. And now, introducing this week's guest.
I'm Josh Fink, owner of Nick's Menswear and the Modern Groom, and I'm nice as...
Welcome to the Nice as Fuck podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Travis Bottoms.
I'm Tyler Sublette.
Sublette. And today we have Josh Fink. Welcome, Josh. Thanks for being here, dude.
Thanks, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be your guest.
Short notice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's
awesome.
my nickname in high school.
Short notice. Just, you need something quick.
That's
you
right.
call Josh Fink.
That's right. That's not why it was that.
If you need something in 5 minutes, he's got
That's
you.
right.
He's
I'm
your
your
guy.
guy.
He's your guy. Well, we love you being here, man. You're an awesome friend, awesome supporter. You've been a customer of ours since day one. We love you. We appreciate your support.
Of course.
And love what you do, man. And we think that the way you do things makes you a differentiator in your industry in a lot of ways. And we want to know your story. So would love for you to start as early on as you'd like to start. You're a great storyteller.
Sure.
So would love to hear all about it.
Yeah. Again, thanks for having me, guys. This is gonna be fun. My story starts in Minot, North Dakota. Minot is kind of right in the center of the state, about 50,000 people, 2 hours from the Canadian border. And my grandfather was from Minot. He started men's clothing stores. His dad had grocery stores, and then my grandfather in 1962 started men's suit stores called American Man. And I remember the old American Man stores. So these stores were started in 1962. My father got involved in kind of the early 80s along with my uncle, who's now my business partner. And, as I was telling you guys, at one time in North Dakota, we were one of the biggest games in the country. We competed against the Buckle. So we had suit stores first, and then it transitioned into a more casual store like a PacSun today. As I was, we sold No Fear and Stussy and Massimo, Doc Martens. It was a family-owned business, 16 stores across North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. And it was products that, in retail back in the day, there's still a term called keystone, right, which is margins. And in retail, traditional retail margins aren't very good, especially when you have sales at the end of the year. It ends up being like 35, 40%, which is not that great. So I grew up kind of in the stores and worked in the stores in high school. I saw we had a centralized warehouse in Minot where we shipped all the product from the warehouse to all those 16 stores across the 3 states. And I really saw firsthand what it took to run a small business and deal with employees and how there was a lot of employees, 16 stores, and say 8 to 10 employees per store. And Walmart came along in the Dakotas in the late 90s, and people didn't want to spend a bunch of money on jeans and clothing anymore. So they made the difficult decision those stores were called Zips. They shut those stores down, and my dad went on to do some real estate with my mother, and my uncle just did some random stuff, sold life insurance. They had a horse ranch in Fargo. And I played high school golf, was a decent golfer in high school, and decided to go. I was dating a gal, and she was going to the University of North Dakota, so I said, hey, I'll just go there too and see how it is. So in August 1995, I went to University of North Dakota and played golf for a season there. The season was like 3 weeks long. And we ended up breaking up the winter of 96, like October, November of 96. So when I was home on Christmas break in the winter of 1996, I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to this place. I'm getting out of here. And I did. It was when the internet, I don't know when it came out, but I remember going downstairs and it was the AOL online. So you could hear the dial-up.
Yeah.
And I searched for golf schools, and I came across this. I think at that time it was the only one. It was called the Golf Academy. It was called the San Diego Golf Academy, SDGA, and this was the Arizona campus. And it was at San Marcos in Chandler, right off of Chandler Boulevard in like Alma School. And it was San Marcos was the oldest golf course in Arizona. And my previously, my grandmother and grandfather lived at Gainey Ranch, and had Suns tickets, and my grandpa played at Gainey Ranch. Actually died on the golf course at Gainey Ranch. Wow. So we had been coming down here for all through my high school days. So I liked Scottsdale. I knew Scottsdale. I didn't know anybody here other than my grandmother. So I said to my parents, hey, I found this golf school. I want to move to Phoenix, or I want to move to Scottsdale. I'll live with grandma until I meet some friends. And that's what I did. January 1997, I moved to Scottsdale, lived, a mile from where I live now, and went to golf school at San Marcos. Yeah. The 101 ended at Thomas, and so it took like 40 minutes. Yeah. And met some buddies and had a nice stint at that school, and turned professional shortly after. And I was tried to play professionally for a little bit and did okay. Just wasn't good enough to compete at that level to make a living. So I got into instruction and taught for 14 years. Worked with some of the best players in the world. Worked with a lot of LPGA Tour players. A gal who won a major. Worked with a lot of PGA Tour players, and had a nice stint teaching instruction. I just couldn't make enough money. I could make like 1 year I made $60,000, right, and killed it. And I'll never forget, it was February 21st, 2011. I was at the Sandbar Desert Ridge. Remember Sandbar Desert Ridge? And I was meeting a buddy. It was a Monday night. I was meeting a buddy there named Mike Hanner, and he was always late. So I had 2 cocktails before he got there. So I'm sitting up at the bar, and there was a gal behind the bar, and I said, hey, will you close me out? And she asked my last name, and I said, Fink, and she said, are you Aaron's brother? And so this was my wife, Julia. So I met my soon-to-be wife, and when I met her and we spent some time together, I'm like, I can't continue doing what I want to marry this girl. I never really thought about having kids before. I could potentially have kids with this girl, and I'm making $60,000 a year. And at that time, when we started talking about this, she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and I have no money. So I met with my uncle. My uncle and aunt had moved down here, and they'd opened a small store in Glendale, Arrowhead Town Center Mall, called Nick's Menswear. And Mitch, who's my partner now and uncle, he had to borrow $100,000 from his father-in-law to start the business. Tracy, his wife, would open every day. He would close until they could afford another employee. And that went on for about 6 months, and then they opened another store. They opened our Chandler location at Chandler Fashion Center. And so Mitch and I and Tracy sat down, and I said, hey, I'm looking to transition out of the golf business, wondering if there's potentially a spot here for me. And, Mitch and Tracy didn't really know me as an adult. They knew me as this punk kid working in the stores in high school that, didn't work very hard and wasn't very good.
Got fired.
At the job and got fired.
Yeah.
So, we had a couple tough conversations that, hey, they're going to pay me less than I've ever made, and I got to prove to them that this is something that I can do and want to do. And, we talked a little earlier about, you didn't say your why, but what you said, what fires you up or drives you. And I think it's super important to go back to, why are we doing this, right? Why are you doing a podcast? Why did you start are you passionate about bugs? It doesn't matter what you're selling or what your service is. It's why are we doing this? So I knew that at that time, which was, 2012, I think it was, August 2012, that I had an opportunity like I've never had before, because I was always kind of handicapped by how much I could earn or what I could do, so I felt like I had a real opportunity to take advantage of a situation. So I remember like it was yesterday. I'm not a journal guy and wasn't a journal guy or a vision board guy, but I remember vividly that I had these Post-it notes, and on these Post-it notes, every single day I would write, "Be so good that nobody can say anything," and I would post them on my mirror every single day. Be so good that nobody. And you know, I lived with my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, and she's like, you know, what does that even mean? And what it meant to me was, and he hired me as a sales associate at Arizona Mills, which is a highly Hispanic mall, and I didn't speak Spanish. Okay. He spent an hour and a half with me training me on how to sell suits and said, "All right, man, you got it."
Yeah.
Right. So I taught myself what I call suit Spanish because they wouldn't talk to me. And I worked on the floor for 6 days a week at Arizona Mills for 4.5 years.
Wow.
As a sales associate. And then I managed the store, and then I managed managed the other stores, and then I ran the company, and then I got ownership in the company, and we opened more stores. And it all started with this, be so good that nobody can say anything. And what that meant to me was, it doesn't matter if I'm cleaning the bathroom. It doesn't matter if I'm straightening suits. It doesn't matter if I'm sweeping or helping customers. I'm going to be so good at everything that it's not going to shock or surprise anybody when I move up in this company very rapidly.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was my why. And then, you know, we had our kids, and that's a whole different level of your why. And, you know, my grandfather had a great personality and was great with people, the life of the party. My dad was the same way. That has had to do with some of my success in golf and some of my success in clothing.
You have a terrible personality.
Right.
What are you talking about?
I was going to ask if it skipped generations, but
being able to, my buddy used to say, "Can I swear on this podcast?"
Yeah, of course.
it's literally called the nicest fuck.
My buddy used to say, "You're the only person I've ever met that can call somebody a motherfucker or tell them to go fuck themselves within 5 seconds of meeting you and not get hit."
I love it.
Right?
Yeah, you and I don't think you and I have ever been nice to each other,
No,
but you're like my
That's
best.
a love language.
Yeah, you're what?
It's a love
It
language.
is our love language.
It is. So, you know, that part is in my blood, right? It can be taught, but that is just in my blood. And that really has created what Nick's Menswear is. You know, Mitch and Tracy gave great service and were great with the customers. And, you know, Mitch taught me everything I know about suits. I've had the ability of taking the customer experience and the level of rapport to another level without selling with an agenda. I don't care if you spend $0. I don't care if you spend $260. I don't care if you spend $26,000. You're going to get the same experience. You're going to get the same level of service. And it's like with Tyler. Tyler came in and bought a suit.
I was going to ask, does everybody get the Tyler treatment when they get a suit? They come to either the warehouse or your house and get fitted?
No, they come to the store. Tyler came to the store.
Oh, okay.
I did it in the store.
But everybody gets the experience that, you know, Tyler had a vision for, you know, Tyler's sister-in-law is getting married, and they had a vision of black. I didn't let Tyler pick out what he was going to wear to this wedding. We had a consultative process, and we made the decision together, right? Because guys they don't know anything about suits. They don't know their size. They don't know anything about color combinations or fit. So why would I say, "What do you think, Travis? I don't know. What color do you want to wear?"
Yeah.
Right? That's how we really have, you know, as of last year, we were the largest privately held purchaser of men's suits in the country.
Wow.
Right? We sell a lot of suits. So when you have an expert, my philosophy has always been, at the end of the day, Tyler, I'll do whatever you want, but essentially just hear what I have to say first. And I don't have an agenda to sell. Now, how I win in the end is I do win. I win by referrals. 70% of our business is referrals. If I let the client do everything like every place else you went, hey, what brings you in? What color do you want? Where do you like your pants? How do you like? Then I wouldn't get 70% referrals.
Dude, I still cringe at my baggy ass gray suits on my wedding, like gray tuxes that we rented with the see-through shirts and the vests.
Right.
I mean, brutal.
So you know, that's the big difference, and that's the Nick's Menswear difference is a customer's going to come in and they have a need. This is same with what you guys do. I don't want to pay you guys to spray my house for bugs. I have to. Right?
Yeah.
Same with no guy in our store. Very few guys in our stores that, you know what? I think I want to go buy a new suit today.
Yeah.
Treat myself.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
You do.
I don't. Is I have an event coming up.
Yeah.
I need something, and I don't know where to go. Right?
I want you to talk about your opener.
What do you have coming? Hey,
Yeah.
so let's role play.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome in. What do you have coming up? No, actually, let's go back.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome in. What brings you in?
I'm officiating my sister-in-law's wedding in January.
Awesome. Congratulations. Are you going solo or you got a date?
My wife.
And is there a wedding party? Are you you're officiating?
I'm officiating.
And do you have a color code that you're supposed to wear?
I gotta wear black.
Right. So I call this the extraction phase. I'm extracting information, right? Hey, Tyler, I'm Josh. What's your name? Tyler? Josh. Can I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any suits in your closet?
Just one big baggy one.
Got it. So obviously, in this scenario, you're officiating the wedding. You have to do what they're asking. But this is another thing. If somebody comes in asking for a black suit, I'm going to try to sell them a gray or blue suit. Okay. Why? Why would I do this? It's not a price thing. The black suit's $4.99, the gray suit's $4.99, and the blue suit's $4.99. Is
Use probably.
versatility,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing wrong with black, Tyler, right? The negative is I can't wear brown shoes with it. I can't wear every color shirt and every color tie. So typically for a guy that doesn't have anything in his closet, I tend to go to a charcoal gray or blue. The nice thing is I can wear brown or black shoes. I can put any color shirt and tie with it. And I can wear that suit so much and nobody knows I'm wearing the same suit. Now, oftentimes I'll sell this guy 2 suits, but that's the conversation and what do I get out of return? Referrals. Referral. And selfishly, the other thing that I get, this is the selfish part, is I know that somebody's going to be seen in a gray suit or a blue suit more than they will for black, and I'm going to fit them so well and they're going to look so good that somebody's going to say, holy shit, Travis, you look great. Yeah, I went to Nick's Menswear, man. I was in and out in 15 minutes. Josh hooked me up. Right? And
Well, I remember like our conversation when I was at the warehouse and we were talking about suits and all that stuff. And we like had the same conversation because I was like, okay, I want Tyler and I to have the blue and yellows and all. Like, I remember having a conversation with you for freaking an hour about suits, about like, okay, well, is this just going to be a one-time thing, or like, why don't you use it for, multiple things and like all of those things. So I saw that experience just like even a little bit
a little
of me.
snippet of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, a guy can go buy a suit anywhere. You could buy a suit 50 places. There's no place that will treat you like Nick's Menswear employees treat you. And, it's no secret that the employee of today is different than the employee of 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago, I said, go to any of my stores. You could work with my worst employee, and they'd be better than the best employee anywhere else. And even today, I'll still stand by that because it's gotten so bad every place because they're order takers. I mean, it might as well be Starbucks, right? There's no consultative sellings. There's no questions being asked. They don't care about what you wear, right? They don't even care about getting commission. They're not even right. They don't care. So, we up until 2 years ago, we never spent one dime on marketing other than wedding shows and grew 20% every year.
Wow.
Right. Solely off of referrals.
Yep.
Wedding business, you figure if I do one wedding, if I do, your sister-in-law's wedding, and I do what I think we're going to do as far as the fit and the service and the price, it's 12 weddings off of that one wedding. But if I drop the ball anywhere along the way, it just gets watered down, right? If the fit isn't great, somebody gets the wrong color tie, if the tailoring's not perfect, your referral odds go down, right? Sure. So we try, and again, everybody makes mistakes, and that's another thing is how do you handle mistakes?
Right.
The customer's not always right.
Yeah.
Okay, but if there's a mistake, whether it's my fault or not, I fix it.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, I don't have $250 problems. If I need to fix something, I'm going to fix it.
Yeah. It's just an incredible attention to detail is what drives the growth of the business.
Yeah, 100%. Everything is intentional.
Yeah.
And that'll kind of segue into, so talk about this wedding business. In stores, even in 2009, our niche was selling versus renting for around the same price as a wedding, for around the same price as a rental for weddings, for proms, etc. The story was a lot tougher to tell in 2009 because fit didn't matter like it matters today. Today it's very easy. And in 2009 you could rent a piece of shit tux for $100. You can't today. A decent rental is $240 to $310. So locally we do about 1,600 weddings a year at an average of about 6.5 wedding party members per party. And we really, in about 95% of those weddings, there's always out of town guys coming in, right? I got buddies in Chicago, I got buddies in North, right? They're college buddies all over. So first of all, we had to get really good at managing inventory, because this is a one in, one out. It's not like with rentals when we did rentals the first year, but I can rent one rental out 25 times, right? You're not doing that with a suit. So I have to have sizes 34 short to 66 regular, 365 days a week in 7 colors and 3 shirts and 99 ties and cognac shoes, right? It's a process and it's very costly, right? You have to have a lot of inventory on hand. So when we talked about how to scale, the Nick's Menswear concept in busy, high traffic shopping malls works, and it works in every city across the country, right? It would work in Denver, it would work in Minneapolis, it would work in Dallas, Texas. As long as there's over 100,000 people, you're profitable year one, right?
Wow.
Costs, let's say, $650 to open up year one, and you do 1.2 in revenue year one. Okay, I don't know any other business like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yours might be like that. You can be profitable year one because your overhead is, again, maybe, right?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll tell you in about 16 days.
So we were going to open. I was going to open 100 stores. You know, Mitch is 62. He's older than me, and he was playing golf 7 days a week, 6 days a week. He was pretty set. I was hungry, and I'm like, we have this opportunity. Let's blow it up. So we were getting ready to. I was going to go to Seattle and look at this mall in Seattle. I think it was Linwood, and then there's another one in Bellevue. And I remember having a nightmare, and I woke up in the middle of the night sweating. And the nightmare was that we had stores in Seattle, and I found out the whole team was stealing, and I had to fly to Seattle, and I had to fire the whole team, and I had to train a whole team, and I had to get an apartment there, and I had to stay for 6 months and train a new team. And at that time, I had 2 young kids, probably 2 and 4, and I'm really not motivated by money.
Yeah.
Am I boring you?
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So I'm like, dude, I'm not doing this. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Right. I want to grow, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So there were 2 companies.
Why not Seattle?
What's that?
Why not Seattle?
What do you mean?
Nothing. Never mind.
Is that a joke?
No, he's talking about your story,
Oh,
your Seattle story.
Oh,
That-
my tequila story.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good. So, we kind of perfected this in-store wedding experience, right? We knew how to size. We knew how to order. We had the recipe, and nobody was doing this on the scale that we were doing it. So there were 2 companies one company that revolutionized the direct-to-consumer tuxedo rentals, a company called the Black Tux, started in about 2014, started by 2 guys from Menlo Park. And it's genius, right? Instead of going to your local big box, Mr. Tuck shop and, spending $200, you're going to sit online, you're going to order what you're going to wear. It's going to be shipped to your house the Thursday before your wedding. You wear it, take your pictures, put it back hungover on Sunday, and ship it back. Genius, right? Doing $100 million.
Wow.
The other company they're still around. A company called Generation Tux. Generation Tux was started by George Zimmer, who was the original founder of Menswear House, the old guy that used to be in the commercials that said you're gonna love the way you look. And they did rentals, right? At that time they were doing about 60 million. So our idea is, well, let's do that and sell it for on the same price as a rental. Jacket, pants, vest, shirt, tie, matching, pocket square, $260. Not only do you own it, look great, but you can wear it for your wedding and you don't have to ship it back hungover the next day. Right? Genius, right? I knew the concept worked in Scottsdale. It would work on a national scale. But I couldn't have the consumer pick out their own size, because a lot of reasons that these DSC companies fail is shipping and returns, right? 40% return rate. You can't operate.
Yeah.
You cannot operate.
That's huge.
Huge. So, and if the consumer, what size suit you wear? Right. So you're ordering your own suit is not going to fit. Now I got to fucking pay for it.
Yeah.
Screw you. Right. So we had to have it super high touch.
Yeah.
And I couldn't let Travis pick his own suit because he's going to fuck it up. So we did consultations, right? We did consultations. Oftentimes it was the bride and groom, right? And if we had the bride and groom, it was 100% close rate. Sometimes it was just a groom, but it was a Zoom type call where we're helping bring your vision to life, right? They answer a few simple questions. We had the measurements of 500,000 guys. I had all the data. So we created a proprietary algorithm of what size suit most likely is going to fit this individual. I'm going to ship it to you. If you don't like it for any reason, ship it back. But I know you're going to love it. And we're going to register your wedding party. We're going to ship everybody's suit out 7 weeks before the wedding. They're going to take it to a local tailor wherever they live for minor alterations. It's my job to get as close as I can off the rack so you don't have to spend a bunch of money on tailoring. And if it doesn't fit, send it back. I'll send you a new one. And we were a 7% return rate.
Wow.
Because of that. Year 1, we did 1.3 million. Year 2, we did 2.4. Year 3, we did 6.7 million off of Zoom calls.
That's wild.
And then, so how much time we got?
Okay.
I'll make this part quick.
We got 30 minutes.
I'm going to make this part quick. This is thus far in my business career, this is the biggest, this is the worst decision I've ever made. Huh? Closer?
Yeah.
Come here, baby. So to get us to 6.7 million, we were with marketing agencies.
Good.
An agency. Is that good?
Yeah.
Agencies have a bunch of people in house. They got a SEO person, they got a Google person, they got a Meta person, they got a blogger, they've got everything, right?
Yeah.
Pixels on your web, right? They're doing everything, and you pay a percentage of your ad spend, right? So we ended up where we're spending so much money, $250,000 a month on ads.
Jeez.
A month.
Yeah.
That we're paying so much in agency fees, $400,000 a year in agency fees. So, Mitch and I are like, this is ridiculous. And then how much work are you getting from the agent? 3 to 5 hours a week for $400,000?
Yeah.
So a logical question was, how many people can I hire for $400,000 that are going to spend 40 hours a week working on our business, and helping us grow?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer was 7. Actually, more than 7. More than 7 people I hired, all in-house. I hired a marketing team. I hired a director of marketing. I hired SEO. I hired growth marketer. I hired a tech team, 7-person tech team, 5-person tech team. And I hired a COO from a competitor. The growth marketer was from a competitor, where she took that company from 35 million to 60 million, managing a $1 million ad spend a month. Could she do this job? I thought so.
Yeah.
Right. And it started out good, right? This was January 24. Killed it. Biggest year in the history by far. Twice as much. And as time went on, it tapered off. Now, at the end of 23, when we hired her, she said, "Hey, this is after we just did 6.7 million off of Zoom calls."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I lost $800,000 that year. That's how capital intensive this business is.
Mm-hmm.
She said 67%. So we use Calendly, right? Calendly. We used Calendly as a booking app.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Hey, my data shows that 67% of people are dropping off at the booking page." Okay, which means what? Why are they dropping off? Because it's a millennial and Gen Zer, and they don't want to talk to somebody. They just want to buy now, like everything else in their life, right? So what do? You give the customer 2 different flows. I want to have my handheld, or you know what, bro, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. So I spent $1 million on developing a Shopify and e-commerce flow. And by it's supposed to be done in January, and then in February, it got pushed back to about July. And they're like, beware, because when we open this, the floodgates are going to frickin' open, right? And when we launched in July, the floodgates did not open. It was a completely new business. We had no metrics, right? And it tanked. It completely tanked. Not to mention in this time, when we left the agency, our social mix, our meta, they call it the mix, right? The marketing mix was 90% Meta, 10% Google. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And we had that nice year, right? Did 6.7. Our growth marketer came to us at the end of the year as well and said, "Hey, these Google ads are a lot cheaper than this. These Google leads are a lot cheaper than this Meta lead, and they're closing at a much higher rate." And I'm not a marketing guy.
Yeah.
Are you a marketing guy? What do you say? Then what would you say if somebody came and said, "Great, let's do it"?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what she did. And over the course of 3 months, she switched it from 90-10 Meta Google to 90-10 Google Meta.
And it tanked.
It didn't tank until May, and fortuitously, I was playing golf with a buddy, and he brought his buddy, and this guy was the former CMO for Facebook. He was a genius. He was one of the first 15 guys at Snapchat, and I gave him a putting lesson, right? Because his putting sucked. And he went out and frickin' putted awesome. He's like, "Dude, anything you need." I said, "Actually, I got something."
Yeah.
I told him the story. He's like, "Give me 2 days and I'll dive into it." And he calls me. He's like, his name's Mike Fox. We called him Fox. He said, "Well, I know why business is tanked." I said, "Why?" "Because you don't have anybody in the funnel. Because a Google is the bottom funnel conversion. Now you don't have anybody coming in from Meta or anything else, so your funnel's completely dry. Yeah, you're closing those leads that are looking for that, but you're not getting any new leads."
Right.
So I hired him fractionally. I hired his guy that he was with at a previous company, and by that time it was kind of too late. I moved the other girl out of the role, and we pared down. I almost let everybody go from the modern room, but this is the most interesting thing. And it's super interesting test case is I haven't spent one dime in marketing on the Modern Groom since November of last year.
Yeah.
We've done nearly $3 million this year.
Wow.
So the marketing that they did worked, but that's the power of referrals. Not one dime.
Yeah.
Now I'm profitable because I have very little overhead. I have very little employees. And now we're strategically going to grow this slowly without spending a bunch of money and hiring a bunch of people.
What an incredible story.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I think what I learned from it is I made the mistake of hiring off a resume.
Yeah.
That was the biggest mistake I made.
Were there red flags prior to
No.
her actions?
No. The only red flag was, well, if that's what you want to do, then I guess we can do it. So she never if it wasn't her idea, she didn't get behind the decision.
Okay.
Right. Which to me is a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then if it doesn't work, it's not my fault.
Right.
Right. That
Right.
was the only red flag.
Okay.
But I hired people off of what they'd done in the past, off of
Sure.
resumes, and it was the wrong decision.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done differently.
That was my next question. Would you have just stayed with the agency?
Yeah, a question from me is like initially, right? Because in pest control, I don't want to hire people from other pest control companies. So, do you think like it was because she had a different experience at a similar place?
So I don't like in my suit business in Nick's Menswear. I don't love hiring people with suit experience because this is how we did it at blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right. But the benefit is they know how to size. Even though it's not that accurate, they know how to size. With this, it 100%. And the other thing is it came from a rental company, and it came from a company. She came from a company that already had a presence, right? So it's a completely different animal. And she used that playbook on my business, and it failed miserably, right? So if I was to do it again, I would have stayed with the agency. Going forward, I would only use an agency. That agency currently is doing marketing for Nick's Menswear for me. Am I pleased with it? It's okay. It's okay. It's not great. I haven't met a great agency. And we spent a lot of money. I haven't met, and I've interviewed not hundreds, but I've interviewed 20 agencies. And but that's what I would do because they have everybody in house. right? You have to hire so many people in order to do this
Yeah.
that it's just not. It's just too cost intensive.
And one of those people could tank the whole thing.
100%. And then you have these, you have these different conflicts between personalities. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're seeing in D2C is they might have a couple in-house folks, but they 100% have an agency,
Mm-hmm.
right? They
Mhm.
100% have an agency.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I would use an agency. I would if I was to hire and bring an in-house team, I would hire somebody from a different business that were e-commerce specialists,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And marketing specialists, regardless of the industry.
Sure.
I stuck with industry specific, thinking that I needed somebody that was in the industry, and
Right.
and we didn't. But I think it's I certainly think it's what's best for us, and I am excited about the future of the Modern Groom.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit, what the future of Modern Groom looks like.
Yeah, again, we're still doing a lot of business. We ship out a lot of product all over the world, all over the country, excuse me. And, we potentially would bring on an investor that had not just for capital, because, again, we're profitable now, but for if somebody was the right partner that had something to bring to the table, had a marketing team, had product, something to bring to the table,
Mm-hmm.
mainly marketing and financial,
Mm-hmm.
because we spent every dime we made we put back into the company,
Mhm.
and the data wasn't good enough. We didn't have a data analyst. I needed a data analyst.
Mhm.
So you're kind of just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks,
Mhm.
and you end up spending too much money on things that potentially didn't work, or you
Right.
didn't spend enough money on things that really did work.
Sure.
So it was just so capital intensive. I mean, to do 6.7 million and lose 800,000, that tells you how capital intensive it
Yeah,
was.
for sure.
Now we're going to do 3 million, and we're going to be profitable,
Right.
right?
Right.
So which one would you rather have?
No.
Right. So now I think we can grow it strategically, but there were so many headaches. So it's like, what's my plan for it? If we could do 3 to 5 million annually with the Modern Groom, I'd be super happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be super happy.
Yeah.
But it very stressful, and there's a lot of things. When somebody walks into your store and you have 4 walls, I'm a control freak, and I can control everything that happens.
Yeah.
I can't control anything with an online customer.
Sure.
So I think that's what the future looks like with that.
I mean, me and Tyler talk about, trajectories of what we're doing and like, how do we want to get there? Like, and there's times where we have conversations of like, okay, let's do something completely different, not different as in pest control, but like, do we spend a ton of money on marketing? Do we spend, this time and bring a person in? Do we start SEO? Do we do all of these different things? And I think we always just come back to, all right, like, yes, we can grow faster, but at the rate we're growing, we're still growing at a healthy rate, but we're doing it, one, the right way. They're a good customer, and 2, like, we can still stay profitable and pay all of our bills. And
Totally. And through this process, there had been people that approached us to buy the Modern Groom, and the landscape of venture capital right now
yeah,
is way different than it was, let's say, 18 months ago. Almost everybody we talked to, they wanted to see half of your business coming from organic,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which says something,
yeah,
right? You have to have a base that you're not paying for,
Right.
right, in order to sustain.
Yep.
So I believe marketing dollars on paid spend that's going to get less and less, but creative organic marketing is going to be where it's at, which you guys are doing. I mean, again, what other pest company is doing a podcast? Right.
yeah,
Right. But
There's
like,
a couple.
but
There's a few
it's
out
not about selling pest products, right?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
it's not about it's a brand, it's a vision, it's a mission, and it doesn't matter if it was Liquid Death or Cast. It doesn't matter what the product is.
Yeah.
If you do it with passion and do it intentionally and doing it like you're going to do it, knock on wood, it's probably going to be successful because it's you two guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, and same for you. You said, so much of that growth was word of mouth and referrals. You're building customer loyalty through your attention to detail, through your intentionality, through your experience that you give the customer, through caring about people. making sure that their event goes off without a hitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, all of the controllables that you can control.
Yeah.
Right. They look great. They feel great.
And then if I don't deliver, I'm fixing it.
Yes.
No question.
Yeah. Face the problem head on.
Tough for me to fix Monday after the wedding. You ruin my pictures.
Yeah.
But actually, that's a great story. This was with the Modern Groom early on.
Yeah.
I got an email from a bride saying, "You ruined my wedding. Here's the pictures. Everybody was in a gray suit, but this guy got shipped a blue suit because they switched colors halfway through, and we were transitioning our back end, so it didn't get transferred over. What am I going to refund the groomsman's suit?"
Mm-hmm.
So I called her. I don't remember her name, but I called her and I said, "Hey, I'm Josh Fink. I own the Modern Groom. I got your email, and sorry is not the right words to say, but here's what I can do for you. One, I can either refund all the guys' suits to them, or I can cut you guys a check for $2,100, which is what they spent, and consider it a wedding present."
Yeah.
The other thing I can do is I have a lot of photographers in my network because we work with a lot of we do a lot of weddings in Phoenix. No,
Okay.
no. So, but I told them we were at brick and mortar stores in Phoenix, and I have a large network in the photography field, and I'm very confident that a photographer that we use can color retouch and color correct the photo. So at least in your photos, this guy's in a gray suit, not a blue suit.
Yeah.
And she starts to cry. "You mean you do that for me?" Like, people aren't doing this.
Yeah.
And I just tried to put myself in her shoes. What would you want?
Right.
How do you make this?
Yeah.
It's not even right. It's just more than anybody else was willing to do.
Sure.
So I cut her a check for $2,100, and I had a photographer fix her photos. And guess what? She referred like 50 weddings to me.
Totally.
Versus a pissed off customer that's never going to use it again and going to bash you all over the internet.
Right.
You flip it around
Right.
to where they have to.
Yeah.
They have to. So there's, you can get referrals from a customer who's very happy. You can also get referrals from a pissed off customer if you handle it the right way.
Sure.
And that referral to me is more important than anything. My reputation and the referral is more important to me than marketing dollars or making money or, because that'll all come around. And that's how you
100%.
grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get questions all the time about like, how do you guys get so many referrals? And it's basically that, right? You have to, one, be a pest control company or any company to that customer first. If you're not, like you said, right? Like if the tailoring's wrong or sizing or, whatever, if that's wrong, you miss out on that opportunity. Well, like I know a ton of companies out there that aren't providing a service that even their own customers don't like. So why would that customer want to refer them after?
And why do you think they're doing that?
They just don't care.
I don't think it's that. The employees don't care.
I mean, I know a ton of owners that are okay with just clocking in and clocking out. They have a business just themselves, and they're just like, okay with being okay.
So in that business, I can see. But let's say it's corporate retail,
Yeah.
a big box retailer, right? Service has gotten awful. Why has it gotten awful?
It's just all about the bottom line.
Yeah.
They've cut and they've cut and they've de-incentivized and they've de-incentivized
Mm-hmm.
to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
And those type of stores are you know that you're a 34 waist. You know that you're a large polo shirt. You don't need help shopping.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My store is not a shop yourself store,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
So I have to have people. I have more people on the floor than I need,
Yeah.
and we're the expert,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
I'm going over your size. I'm putting the jacket on you. You're not holding anything. I'm opening the curtain for you. I'm telling you to button the shirt up, tuck it into the pants. Pants are going to be long. Don't worry about that. My tailor will take care of it. And then when you come out, like I did with you, I put a tie on you, put a tie. This is my buddy. I'm still putting him in the full outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I put a tie bar on him. I put actually pulled the pocket out because it had a built-in pocket square. I put shoes on him. So it's finished looks. It's not half-ass. It's not part of a look. It's finished looks.
Oh, and honestly, I freaking see Tyler the next day, and he's like, "Dude, look at
Right. Right. That's what I get.
I
out
look
of
like freaking John Wick, dude.
John Wick.
John Wick.
Mr. Wick.
John Wick.
I look like John Wick," and he was excited.
Right. But so the idea, same with you guys, is the given experience that people are forced to say, "Holy shit, have you tried Knights?"
But, yeah.
Right.
Right?
Or make an ass of yourself enough on the internet that people are like, these guys are funny. I'm
That's
going to
true.
try.
They're
it."
in bug costumes. I
Yeah.
get it. I
Getting
got to try.
So,
That's my story.
yeah, dude. I mean, awesome story. I like you. I look to you as you're a game changer of your industry. Suits are a very classic thing, but you come at it a very different approach. And for you, at the end of the day, like you said, it's taking care of people, pointing them in the right direction, making sure they're taken care of, facing the problem head on. I mean, those are things that are translatable to any business, to make any business successful. And more and more these days, businesses aren't doing that. Like you said, it's about the bottom line. It's about, get in, get out, quick sale, fast fashion, spray in 5 minutes, whatever industry.
Totally.
You can name off a million of them. But at the end of the day, it's take care of people, face problems head on, build a loyal customer base, and they'll come back. And it'll all come back.
And you guys are 100% doing that. Do it so well where if somebody else came to you, Tyler, right, and said, "Hey, I sell clothing. I think I do my job well enough that it would completely shut down the thought of anybody ever going anywhere else, unless it's something that I just don't have."
Mm-hmm.
Same with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why would I go someplace else?
Right.
Is I know how much you care. I know how, right? I believe in the product.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to leave if somebody came out, if Not So Nice Pest came out and they're going to charge me $8 less a month? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. And for me, if I sold pest control, it doesn't matter what the product is.
Right.
If you do it like this, you're going to be successful.
Sure.
You really are. So I wish you guys the best of luck. I know
Dude,
you're going to
thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
It's like I said, your friendship means the world, and I knew that I could give you a call and you'd show up for us, man. So we love you, and we love you being part of the Nice Pest fam. And
thanks, guys. Happy to be here.
Continue being nice as fuck.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
9025 North 83rd. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I know where you live.
Our bedroom's on the left side.
Yes.
We have we have a steam shower. It's really nice. So we're if you're in Arizona, we're in pretty much every major shopping mall. Scottsdale Fashion Square is our flagship location. Chandler Fashion Center, Arrowhead Town Center. We've got a discount store at Arizona Mills, and then I've got a location at Park Place Mall in Tucson. Go to nixmenswear.com to kind of check out our offerings or book an appointment. You can find us on Instagram at nixmenswear. Same thing with The Modern Groom, themoderngroom.com or at The Modern Groom.
And go check out that custom room at Scottsdale Fashion Center.
Yeah,
if you want an experience and you need a suit and you got some time, check out that custom room. You got a bar, got a comfy space to hang out,
pick your fabric, pick your buttons, pick your lining, right? Put your wedding date under the collar, whatever it is. Put your name on the inside. It's super
an
cool.
experience.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks dude.
Guys.
Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, man.
This has been the Nicest Podcast. Enjoy the episode? Say so in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and pass it to a friend. We'll catch you next week. And until then, stay nice as